Gianni Versace's funeral, Milan, July 1997. Diana and Elton John sat side by side. Then they fought, in front of Versace's coffin, two closest friends yelling at each other. They didn't speak for 6 weeks. Then Diana died. Elton never forgave himself. The friendship. Diana and Elton John were best friends. Unexpected friends, but real ones. A princess and a rock star. They shouldn't have worked, but they did. They met in the 1980s through mutual friends, bonded immediately. Both knew what it was like to live under constant scrutiny. Both struggled with the pressure of fame. Elton was openly gay. Diana was a fierce ally of the LGBTQ community during the AIDS crisis. They supported each other, called each other constantly, laughed together, cried together. Elton was one of the few people Diana truly trusted. He didn't want anything from her, just friendship. Diana went to Elton's concerts. He visited her at Kensington Palace. They gossiped like schoolgirls. Their friendship was genuine, deep, important to both of them, until July 1997, when everything fell apart. Gianni Versace's murder. July 15, 1997, Miami Beach. Gianni Versace stepped out of his mansion, walked to a nearby cafe, bought magazines. He returned home, climbed the steps to his front door. A man approached. Andrew Cunanan, serial killer. Cunanan shot Versace twice in the head, point blank. Versace died, on his own doorstep. One of fashion's greatest designers, murdered. The world was shocked. Versace was iconic, beloved, talented. Diana was devastated. She'd known Gianni for years. He'd designed dresses for her. Elton was equally destroyed. Gianni was a close friend. They'd spent time together regularly. The funeral would be in Milan. Both Diana and Elton planned to attend. Neither knew their friendship was about to implode. July 27, 1997. The funeral. Milan Cathedral. Hundreds gathered to mourn Versace. Fashion designers, celebrities, friends. All grieving. Diana arrived, elegant in black, composed but clearly emotional. Elton arrived, also in black. His face showed the pain of loss. They sat together, old friends at a funeral, united in grief. The service was beautiful, emotional, tributes to Versace's genius and kindness. Diana cried quietly. Elton held back tears. After the service, something happened. Nobody knows exactly what triggered it. Some say it was a comment. Some say a misunderstanding. Some say accumulated tension. But Diana and Elton started arguing, right there, at Versace's funeral. The fight. Voices were raised, not screaming, but definitely fighting. People nearby were shocked. Diana, Elton, fighting. Diana accused Elton of being selfish, being insensitive. Elton defended himself, said Diana was being unfair. The details remain private. Neither spoke publicly about what was said, but it was serious. Serious enough to destroy their friendship.
Diana left the funeral angry. Elton stayed, upset and confused. Their friendship, years in the making, had shattered in minutes. The silence. After Milan, Diana and Elton didn't speak. Days passed, then weeks. Both were stubborn, both were hurt. Neither reached out. Friends tried to mediate, suggested they talk, work it out. But Diana and Elton remained silent, proud, wounded. Before we reveal what happened next, please subscribe to the Diana Stories. Elton later said he regretted the fight immediately, but he didn't call. Diana was angry, but also sad. She missed her friend, but she didn't call either. 6 weeks passed, no communication, no resolution. Both probably thought they had time. They'd fought before. They always made up eventually. But time was running out. August 31st, 1997. Diana died in Paris, car crash in the Pont de l'Alma tunnel. The news hit Elton like a physical blow. Diana was dead, and they hadn't spoken in 6 weeks, hadn't made up after the Versace funeral fight. Their last interaction had been angry, hurt, unresolved. Elton was devastated, not just because Diana died, but because they'd never reconciled. He'd lost his friend, and their final moments together had been a fight. The guilt was crushing. Why hadn't he called? Why hadn't he apologized? Now it was too late. Diana was gone, forever. The phone call. The day Diana died, Elton got a call. Prince William. William asked if Elton would sing at Diana's funeral, a special version of Candle in the Wind. Elton had originally written the song for Marilyn Monroe. Now he'd rewrite it for Diana. Elton said yes, immediately, despite his grief, despite feeling unworthy after their fight. He worked with Bernie Taupin to change the lyrics, "Goodbye England's Rose" instead of "Goodbye Norma Jean." Elton practiced, cried through rehearsals, knew this performance would destroy him emotionally, but he'd do it for Diana, for William, as his final goodbye to his friend. September 6, 1997, Diana's funeral. Westminster Abbey, 2 billion people watching worldwide. Elton sat at the piano, the whole world watching. He started playing, started singing. "Goodbye, England's Rose, may you ever grow in our hearts." His voice cracked, tears streamed down his face, but he kept going. "You were the grace that placed itself where lives were torn apart." Every word was for Diana. Every note carried his grief and his guilt. The performance was heartbreaking, raw, real. Elton barely made it through, but he did, for Diana. When he finished, there wasn't a dry eye in the Abbey, or watching around the world. The regret. Elton has spoken about the Versace funeral fight many times over the years. He said it was his biggest regret, not making up with Diana before she died. He said, "We had a silly falling up, and then she was gone." He wishes he'd been less proud, less stubborn. He wishes he'd called. Diana probably felt the same. She'd lost too many friends to pride. She knew better, but neither of them reached out, and then it was too late. Why it matters.
The Diana and Elton fight teaches a painful lesson. Don't wait. Life is short. Friendships are precious. Pride isn't worth losing people you love. Diana and Elton fought at Versace's funeral. 6 weeks later, Diana was at her own funeral. Neither of them knew their time was running out. Nobody ever does. Elton has carried this regret for over 25 years. The friend he loved, the fight he wishes never happened, the reconciliation that never came. The Versace connection. There's tragic irony in fighting at Versace's funeral. Gianni Versace had brought people together. He was known for warmth, generosity, love. His funeral should have been a moment of unity. Instead, it became the moment Diana and Elton's friendship broke. Versace would have hated that. He loved both of them. The man being mourned would have wanted his friends to support each other, not fight. The legacy. Today, Elton still talks about Diana, with love, with sadness, with regret. He said she was one of the most important people in his life. He misses her constantly. The Versace funeral fight haunts him. A stupid argument, 6 weeks of silence. Then Diana was gone, and Elton never got to say sorry, never got to say goodbye properly. Candle in the Wind became his apology, his goodbye, his expression of love for a friend he'd lost. The song raised millions for Diana's charities, became one of the best-selling singles ever. But Elton would trade all of that to have made one phone call, to have said sorry while Diana was alive. Conclusion. Milan Cathedral, July 22nd, 1997. Versace's funeral. Diana and Elton fought over something stupid, something neither could even remember clearly later. They stopped speaking, both too proud, both too hurt. 6 weeks passed, then Diana died. Elton sang at her funeral, cried through every word, said goodbye to a friend he'd never reconcile with. The regret has lasted 25 years. The lesson is timeless. Don't wait to make up with people you love. Don't let pride win. Don't assume you have time. Diana and Elton thought they had time. They were wrong. Their friendship ended at a funeral. Diana's own funeral came 6 weeks later, and Elton has lived with that regret ever since.